Welcome to this week's edition of Coach Prep. Coach Don and I are back in the Cherokee Batting Range podcast studio getting ready to record episode number 244. We're going to talk about the underdog attitude, underdog mentality, and how it can be a good thing, a bad thing, and all of the above in different situations. But before we do that, first let's talk about our sponsor, the Anderson Bat Company.
Everything Fast Pitch is very proud to have Anderson Bat Company as our presenting sponsor. Anderson Bat Company is using the latest and greatest bat technology to corner the market in the fast pitch world. They have the -9 Rocket Tech, the -10 Carbon, and the -11 Carbon Light. Anderson Bat Company is using this technology to put a high-performing bat in the hands of hitters that really know the difference between a good bat and a great bat. We're also working with Anderson to provide a discount for all of our listeners. Go to the Anderson Bat Company website and order your bats. Use the EFP20 discount, which is for everything fast pitch, and you'll get a 20% discount.
And again, make sure you take advantage of that EFP20. It's a great way for you to save that additional 20% and help to support the podcast. Also, we would love for you to become a patron. Go to patreon.com/everythingfastpitch. You're in a position where you can help us if you see value in what we're doing. We really would love for you to join the loyal patrons that we've had that have been supporting us for a really long time. We haven't added somebody new for a little bit yet, so we'd love to certainly add somebody or two or three or four. So if you're in a position, again, where you can help us, go to patreon.com/everythingfastpitch. So Don, we've all seen this happen. Coach Stan was relaying a couple of stories to us earlier that he's experienced where you're the underdog. You know going in that you're going to have a really good day to win today. And over the course of things, something happens, you come back and you take the lead. Maybe you've been leading for the entire game, but you're just getting down to the end. You know, you've been that underdog. You've been, scrapping and fighting and clawing. And how many times have we seen that team? It's like you're on the verge of winning. You're really, done a great job all game long. And then something happens and the wheels fall off and that great start turns into, unfortunately, in a lot of instances, that heartbreaking finish. So I always talk about snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, that somehow that seems to happen to the team that is the quote-unquote underdog a little bit more often than we wish.
Yeah, I know that can be kind of an exciting day and opportunity because it is, like you said, it's magic when you're facing somebody that you're not expected to beat, but all the pieces seem to be fitting together. Everybody's on the edge of their seat as we get close to the end of the game, and then how things fall apart is like, well, what did we do wrong? Or what happened here? Because we were on such a good path. But I think that the pressure and the mindset maybe might change as we get further in and we're starting to realize that, hey, we might really do this thing. And we want to make sure that we can keep that momentum all the way through the end of the game.
Yeah. Well, I've got a quick little story I'm going to relay that is very personal experience. In 2006, we had a really good team at Tennessee Tech. We went to Knoxville and played UT in the first round of the regional with Monica Abbott pitching. Now, we knew Monica really well. We knew we were such underdogs in that game that it was going to take something extra special. We spent an entire week doing nothing but getting ready for Monica Abbott. We did everything we could think of to get our hitters as ready as we possibly could for the hardest throwing, most dominant pitcher that Division I softball had seen to that point in time. Monica had no hit us 3 or 4 times in her career, had beaten us 12, 14, 15 times, some ridiculous number over the course of her whole career. So here it was, her senior year, and our chance to go to the regional. We had everything come together exactly the way we hoped it would. All our right hitters were at the plate at the right time. The kids that could do something positive for us, we ended up knocking her out of the game in the second inning, 5 runs later. So we were winning that game 5-1. They brought in Megan Rhodes, and she shut us down for the rest of the game. And slowly but surely, all of a sudden, it was 5-2. Then it was 5-3. Then it was 5-5. Then it was 6-5, and we didn't have the 6. So it was that same kind of thing. It was almost like that even though our game plan had worked perfectly and we had put ourselves in such a great position that somehow we just didn't believe we could beat Tennessee that year. Well, fast forward to the following year, we went to Alabama, and that year we had the exact opposite outcome. We went again in as the total underdog, had the game plan come together. We ended up winning a really hard-fought game in the first game of the regionals. Now, for them, the underdog mentality came back and got us on Sunday when they came back and swept us in the double dip to still knock us out of the regional. But I thought that the one opportunity to learn some valuable lessons did stick and carry us over to the next year a little bit. But at the end of the day, your players kind of know the score. And if you're playing against a team that their reputation is such, their performance is such, their record against you is such that you know you're the underdogs going in, overcoming that is a really difficult thing to do. And having it stick and hold long enough to be able to actually get out of there with a win, I think is something that really is confluence of a lot of different things that all have to come together at the right time. And sometimes I think it's the softball gods conspire, and sometimes it's your day and sometimes it's not.
And sometimes, Tori, too, we describe it as, we have to go out there and play to win rather than not go out there to not lose, right? If we want to play to not lose, there's like a different feeling and a different relaxing concept when we're trying to play to win.
Right. And it really kicks in when you get that lead.
Yeah.
When you think, oh my God, we could beat these guys.
And now we start playing defensively, or something changes.
Yeah.
And watching or coaching through that, you can see it and you can feel it, but I don't know how that is supposed to be relayed or pushed on them other than saying, hey, just relax and go out there and fight, right? Not let them like telling a pitcher that has a no-hitter, that they have a no-hitter.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we realize we're doing something that we probably might not ever do, beat Tennessee or whoever it might be. But once we kind of start making that stick in our head, then it kind of spoils the mix maybe. But
right. Well, and Stan told a good story about team coming back from a big deficit and then, rallying around the idea of, we've worked so hard to get back in this game. Let's give it all we've got. Let's play the hardest we've ever played. Let's
go cut loose.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think if we can keep that attitude of playing hard, playing aggressively, playing, as you said, to win versus not blowing the lead that we finally have gotten or the chance that we finally have to beat this team, I think that's the key. But I think it's, again, one of those things that we want to keep instilling that idea and keep trying to plant that seed. But at the end of the day, it still only works some of the time. But I think it's a whole lot better approach to take than the, oh my God, I can't believe we're beating Monica Abbott. Oh my God, I can't believe we're beating Alabama.
You've earned it and you deserve it.
Right. You deserve it. I think that if we can keep instilling that idea, but I think it starts with coaches, because I'm not so sure that the game we lost to Tennessee, that even though I was hopeful that what we had set up was going to work, even when we were winning 5-1, it's like, dang, we're winning 5-1. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard.
Is this real? Yeah.
It's almost like you have to practice and rehearse in your mind and with your team that idea. You hear the stories all the time of basketball coaches that the very first practice of their season they cut down the nets so that they are planting the seed in their players' minds that we're a championship team. We're going to cut down the nets at the end of the year, or hoist the trophy, or throw Gatorade on the coach, or whatever it is. That is, one of those signifying things.
We've been there. We've done that.
Yeah, but I think from a coach's perspective, that we need to be rehearsing that in our minds, and we need to be able to, when we say you've worked really hard to get here, let's play to win, that we're saying it and backing it up and meaning it in a way that our players know that this is who we are. This is always going to be our attitude. And then I think it's much more likely to stick and actually accomplish the goal of hanging on to win the game against the quote unquote better team. But if we go into it with the, oh my God, I can't believe we're winning attitude, I'm pretty sure that the demons are going to creep into our minds, and we're going to turn that into, oh, I hope I don't screw up. Oh my God, don't make a mistake.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that saying those things are important. And when you're working so hard in practice, it's like when you beat that team, you deserve it.
Right.
It's like, this is something you deserve.
And we talk all the time, a lot of players hope that they're going to do something, or they're going to try to do something. And this is one of those things that we have to believe in our heart of hearts that we're going to hang on. We are going to keep playing the way, the things that got us here, we're going to keep doing those things.
We'll continue.
Right. And hopefully that starts to be the way the players start to process it, that, well, this is what we do. This is how we play. This is what we do every game. And now if it happens to come through and you end up getting a big win against a quote unquote favored team, then that's a beautiful thing. But I think if we can instill that mindset and really work on helping our kids play that way all the time, we're going to beat a lot of teams, not necessarily just the teams that we're supposed to lose to.
All the tough games might not feel quite as tough.
Right. So knowing you're the underdog, it can be a golden ticket to doing something really special, but we can't just expect it to happen miraculously. It's got to be something we work towards and plant the seeds for and water the plants and put some sun on them and let them grow.
I love it. That's good stuff.
All right, so that's going to wrap up number 244. Please make sure you support the Anderson Bat Company. Become a patron if you can. Go to patreon.com/everythingfastpitch. Please make sure you reach out to us at everythingfastpitch@gmail.com or fastpitchprep@gmail.com with questions, ideas, suggestions, things you would like us to talk about. And make sure you go to the fastpitchprep.com website, order your Square Cuts training discs there. You also have access to the YouTube channel and the blog post. There's tons and tons of information available on the fastpitchprep.com website. So for Coach Don McKinley, our producer Stan Lewis, this is Coach Torrey. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again next week.